What up, folks? What it do? Welcome to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Yeah, with Mike Goodwin, the bow tie. I'm wearing the bow tie today. So, we start each and every episode on the road again. And I was on the road. I was on the road twice. So last week I probably talked about the graduation commencement speech that I gave. Horrible. It was bad. So bad. And a friend of mine called and asked about it, and I was like, it was bad. Now, it was bad. It was bad. Straight up and down. It was not good. And then sometimes people say, well, Mike, man, you just hard on yourself. No. We send out surveys after the events, and this survey came back to confirm what we knew. Not good. Not good. First off, I think part of the issue, and again, I'm very honest. When things don't go well, I'm clear that this is not like, I don't know if I've broken down the kind of matrix that I have. So my wife will text me before every show and say, have fun, bless the people. That's kind of our thing. When I first started, I was not having fun and I was not blessing the people. It was bad. So then I started doing those things. I was thinking too much about me. Look at me, I'm so cool, I'm so nice, I'm so smooth, whatever. I wasn't having fun and I wasn't blessing people. So that's the goal. The goal when I go up, man, is to have fun. I'm enjoying myself and that the people are blessed. Now, what happens sometimes is I don't have fun and the people don't get blessed. So that's a combination that happened Thursday. Like that, I didn't have fun and I don't think that I blessed the people. Then there's I'm having fun, but I didn't bless the people. That very rarely happens. That didn't happen a lot, I don't think. I'm just having a blast and the people not having a good time. Then there's I'm not having fun, but I bless the people. And that happens a lot too. There's times where I just so those are the times people are like, oh man, you just hard on yourself, you didn't do good. Like, that wasn't one of these times. It didn't go well. It didn't go well for a variety of reasons. Number one being that the sound system was not good. The microphone was cutting in and out. We were in a gym. I'm pretty much defeated. Anytime I speak in a gym with a keynote, I'm defeated. I don't think I get swept every time I speak in a gym. So it wasn't good. I just don't know how to tell you. It wasn't good. And most times people they don't want to hear that something didn't go well. Like, oh no, you gotta be kidding me. You didn't. No, I don't know if you have a great day at your job every day. I don't know if every contract is signed and the dates and all the information is correct. But I didn't have a good day. I didn't have a good day at the job. It just didn't. Man, it wasn't good. It wasn't I'm not trying to be humble. I'm not. Hey man, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. All the circumstances around it. It was hot. And I spoke with the point of contact, the person that hired me, the person that is basically started the school, and we had a conversation. But I didn't feel like I walked away with any more direction. And oftentimes in those scenarios, I always default on do what they saw you do when they saw you. Do that, because when you first start doing comedy, people bring you places and you're like, oh, they might want me to do something different than what the video shows or what they saw me doing. So I had this discussion with this woman. We talked, and there was no clear expectations of what to be done. when you hire me to do commencement, I'm gonna come and do some comedy, and I'm gonna provide some inspiration. I mean, that's what my attempt to do, and it didn't land. It just didn't land. It didn't land well. Maybe my I talked about working hard. That the hard work never goes out of style. I basically said that there's 4 elements to hard work. You got an attitude. You got to have the attitude of gratitude. You got to have a great perspective, good energy. After that, you got to be prepared. You got to prepare. You got to put the work in. You got to show up diligent and ready to execute. Then you got to find your purpose. What's your calling in life? What are you supposed to be doing? And last but not least, you got to execute. And just that's a that's not a bad message. But it didn't happen. It did not happen. So that was Thursday. But then I was on the road again. I was in Myrtle Beach doing a corporate event. So I had a corporate keynote that was at 8:45 in the morning. First thing out of the shoot on a Monday morning. First thing out of the shoot is for the municipalities, South Carolina Association, municipalities of power systems. So these are folks that work, I guess, in power, government organization. Went well. Very well. I guess part of it, I talk to adults. When I'm talking to kids, it doesn't go well. Now, when I was talking to my buddy, he was basically saying, that life and death is in our tongue. And when you hear me talking about, I'm not for the kids, I'm not kidding. I'm not prepared. Not prepared. That's not a good word. That's just not who I'm excited about sharing with. I want to talk to grown people. I want to talk to adults. And maybe I had a little bit of that funk on me, a little bit of that, hey man, these kids. But I mean, I had 20 minutes. 20 minutes to go so awry is that's bad. Like, it's one thing for things to go awry. When you got an hour, 20 minutes, you should be able to get in there, boop, bop, bop, boom. I didn't do it. It didn't happen. And so and it stings. It doesn't, it don't feel good. When you don't perform well, I would liken it to maybe you go out and you have a poor shooting night. You're 6 of 24. You're probably feeling like a cat. Man, I don't even know his real name anymore. From the Timberwolves. Yeah, I like sports, man, but I'm pulling away from sports. Like I'm having less and less of an emotional attachment to sports. That's why this Caitlin Clark thing is really a little bit way over my head, because I'm not engaged in sports like I once was. I mean, I used to be super sports guy. I'm mad that I can't think of Cat's name for the Timberwolves. But it's like having a game, a poor shooting night, and your team loses. Like, it's one thing to have a poor shooting night and your team wins. I had a poor shooting night and the team won. I threw like 4 interceptions, fumbled the ball. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. And I guess you have some of those nights. And I had one of those nights. I'm human. I'm a mere mortal. But yeah, I think what would help me not to have those nights is not to be talking to kids. Yeah. So I think this was my sound. Like, this was like, hey man, no more of that. Cut that out. So I think we're done doing anything youth related, unless I'm doing a panel discussion. Maybe I'm doing a workshop. I'm just kind of talking to the kids. But in terms of me coming to share, I'm probably not the guy. I'm not the guy. But I went down there and did what I did. I did what I did. It came home. Now, and the part that really, because it takes a few days. Like I said, sports teams. I think the LinkedIn post talking about most sports teams have 24 hours to celebrate a win or kind of lament a loss. I don't know if I have that same rule, but what is good if you have another show? So I had the show that Thursday, didn't have another one till Monday. So I had a little bit of PTSD, and it's 8:00 in the morning, and it's a Monday conference. So there's a lot of elements that's like 60-minute keynote. Ooh, I don't know if this is gonna help me get out right, but that went well. But what re-triggered the feeling? So I think I got into okay by Sunday. By Sunday, the sting of the weight of not doing well had kind of dissipated. So I do this. I do Monday morning. I come back to my room. I look at my email. Thursday shows back again. Like, what up? You thought we was done? So Thursday is the review from the survey. The survey results are in there. And the survey results is like, hey man, that's not what we wanted. Very disappointed. It was very clear. Like, because again, my wife is always I'm like, hey man, this didn't go. Matter of fact, I think I remember texting her. This was brutal. It was brutal. And she, it's not that bad. No. So I sent her a screenshot of the survey. Yeah, it was bad. It was not good. So be encouraged that even in pursuing excellence and building building a legacy and growing a business and scaling all of, like, man, you might not hit the mark. You can miss the mark. And I missed the mark recently. And we're gonna keep pushing forward and try to do our best to not miss the mark again. So that was on the road. Now, for the moment that we've all been waiting for. It's amazing how fast that time goes. I mean, we had 12 minutes. That was supposed to be a 5-minute segment, people. I don't know. I got the spirit of preaching on me because, man, I wish my comedy could just fill up this much time. Like my comedy, if I tell you I got 3 minutes worth of material, I got 2 minutes and 59 seconds worth of material. I don't have 8 minutes worth of material. I'll just be lollygagging out there. But we're at the part of the podcast we this entitled. It's the best advice ever. And today's best advice is simply don't live in the past, man. Don't live in the past. And I think I was just recently, I watch a lot of shows. I watch a lot of I ingest a lot of content, whether it's podcasts, books on tape. Like I'm always getting it in. I'm getting content inside. And so I'm watching a show that I would highly recommend. I mean, it's an adult show. So that's the other part. Like I don't subscribe to all the things that's in shows nowadays. Shows just come up with content. You be like, hey man, where that came from? But I watch the show Hacks. Hacks, and it's basically a relationship between a very seasoned, a female comedian, and her writer, who's much younger. And they're much different and have a different perspective. It's kind of like the boomer that's running around with the Gen Z, and hijinks ensues, right? But I was watching this morning on the Stairmaster. So that's another thing. I kind of feel like I need to say, yeah, I watch a lot of content, but I'm doing stuff. I'm on a Stairmaster or I'm on a flight. Like I'm just not at the house with chips and dip watching these shows. I don't know, because I feel like somebody's judging me. And I feel like I felt some of that judgment watching all these shows, huh? I was on the treadmill for 30 minutes. So you can watch whatever show you want to watch for 30 minutes on the treadmill. Anyway, I was on the treadmill and watching Hacks. And basically, the woman, there's an episode, they go hiking. And that's the episode. But there's some injuries, there's some revelation. And the older woman was sharing with the younger woman of like the luxury of youth is that you don't have to savor every day you have time. When you're 27, you can break up with somebody. That's not the end of the world. But when you're 67, that you got to savor. Like you should basically, like, you got to suck the marrow out of the bone of your day. Like you can't let there be any wasted opportunities in the day when you're older, because she basically was saying, like, when there used to be a time, one day I'm gonna get around to doing this, so I want to do this. And she's at the age of like, oh, I need to be doing these things. There's no more time. Like, if that's something I wanted to accomplish, I need to be doing that. Versus when you're younger, you got time, you got opportunities. So I would encourage you to don't live in the past. And this is specifically, I feel this personally. Like, again, I talked about hiring chess coach. I've re-engaged with chess. Matter of fact, I would even think that my therapist had encouraged me to find some kind of hobby, some kind of outlet that was separate from my work and even like my personal life. Like everything that I've been doing, like comedy to me, it's my job, but it's also my obsession. I enjoy it. So like it wouldn't be uncommon for me to go and see a comedian on a night off, but that kind of sort of may feel like work. Maybe I'll go see a comedian and then they ask me to perform. And then I'm at the show. I was going to relax, but now I'm performing and maybe be an opportunity for me to perform. So the lines have merged. I think specifically, like, let's say if you're a minister, a preacher, and you go to a church service. I don't know if you go to church services to relax, but that's what I was doing. Like, much of what my movement was around was either my personal life, my family, and what we have going on, or comedy. Like it all kind of a reservoir drops down into comedy. So I needed something that was very separate from that. And even like working out has become kind of taken over by comedy, because part of working out for me is that I'm able to fit the clothes that I have to be able to perform or to feel a particular way when I'm on stage. So even when working out used to kind of feel this void of just like self-care or just decompressing, now comedy has snuck over there. It's like comedy like water in my life, man. Comedy there's no way to kind of keep it dammed up and barricaded from seeping into all the areas of my life. But I think chess has been able to do that. I'm able to just play chess. And specifically to the don't live in the past, I've learned. My father taught me how to play chess I may have been 12, 13. I was a teenager when my dad taught us. I think everybody should know. I know me and my brother probably know. I'm not certain of my sister. He taught us how to move chess pieces. He didn't teach us how to play chess. So I think those are two different things. So I knew how to move chess pieces, and I played at school, and I was around enough to where I picked some things up, but I really didn't have a great foundation of chess. I just kind of played chess in this savage, you just kind of like you were raised by wolves type of chess player. Like, who taught you this style, right? I just kind of pick these things up as I go. But now at this moment in life, man, like I see chess to be as beautiful as it has always been. Like chess is very attractive to me now. It used to be very overwhelming. It just felt like to be good, you gotta commit so much time, and it's so much intricacies about chess and openings, and you're gonna open with the black, you open with white, end game, middle game. Like, it just was so many German and Russian names that I didn't even know how to pronunciate. It just, even the notation of the board, like knight, the D6, and the notation, it just seems so overwhelming. Well, at this stage in life, I feel like it's clicking. I feel like, oh, I get it. Just spend more time, just sit in it, and it will become more accessible. Like, I'll be able to navigate a little bit. Now, it's not easy, but it doesn't feel as daunting and as weighty as it once did. Even like playing, which I'm getting better at. One of the reasons I wasn't super great at chess was because I didn't want to lose. And however, to get better at chess, It requires a lot of playing, and when you play, there's a great potential that you'll lose, right? So I'm the kind of guy, I play you one game, I win, we good. I don't need to play you no more. We straight. I don't need to keep giving you chances to whoop me, right? But that's not how chess works. You got to keep getting whooped, and you got to keep getting in there and keep getting at it. And so I resisted doing that. Even just my strategy, I just had poor fundamental skills, and working with this coach has really been an assistance, been very helpful to like help me reorientate, rewire some of my thinking. And chess has just been a godsend. It's just been, man, this is all right. But now sometimes I kind of sneak into this thought of like, well, why didn't I get more serious about chess 20 years ago? If I would have, coulda, shoulda. And it's all these thoughts that have nothing to do with anything. Hey, man, I didn't see chess like this 15 years ago. So that's why. Like, I can't focus on what I don't have in a time gone by. So don't live in the past. Like, let's get forward thinking. Let's move out of those strongholds. I mean, I think, when we talk about especially spiritual things, we talk about pulling down strongholds in our mind. I don't know if I've heard preaching or ministering that where a stronghold is like a time frame, like when you've locked into this time. Matter of fact, I'm watching another show, and I had a note to talk about these shows. I didn't know I was going to weave them inside the commentary. Queen's Gambit. So I watched Queen's Gambit, a great Netflix series, that's centered around chess, but you really don't see the chess. The chess is there, but it's not like you're gonna get any better watching the show. You're gonna get better at chess watching this show, but chess is a big part of it. But the central character, I don't know if I was gonna call it the protagonist or the heroine, but the main character, the main female character, often thinks about her mom and how her mom pretty much failed her. I think she ended up becoming an orphan. Her mom was not well. But in this episode, she just keeps hearkening back to when she was a child, when she was young, and things her mother said, and like this, it's just like this incompleteness. There was something that you didn't receive, and so you just keep finding yourself back in this place. And I want to encourage you. I heard Bishop T.D. Jakes say this years ago. He said, if there's something that you're missing in your life, give it until you don't need it anymore. And I did that as it related to a mentor, a father figure. I had a dad. My father was in the house with me. But I don't know if I walked away with all of these lessons and, oh, my dad taught me that, and I learned that. Now, I learned things, and my dad taught me things. I'm not saying that wasn't the case. But I wanted to be mentored and fathered by my dad. I don't think that I was fathered. I think I was raised. I think I was reared. I don't know if I was fathered. I don't know if my father put his imprint upon me, how I desire to be with my children, that when they are years away out of our home, and maybe even once I'm no longer in the earth, that they still can hearken on days and wisdom and insight that I have given them to help them navigate their journey, right? I don't think I had that. So I started mentoring young dudes. Like, I did all kinds of stuff. I did like big brothers, big sisters. I was doing stuff in my fraternity. I was trying to create all types of like programs. I worked with my again, fraternity and alumni level, but I worked as a graduate, undergraduate advisor when I worked at the university. And I even kind of long to be reconnected to some undergraduate men, brothers, to help them navigate life in a way that I didn't receive when I was a young man. But Bishop T.D. Jakes said, if there was something that you're missing, give it. And if you give it, you spend so much time giving it, you won't need it anymore. So I share those words with you about, if you're locked in the past, man, unloose yourself. Get the shackles off your feet so you can dance. Move out of the past, man. I do this. I say this in my keynote. There are one of three places that you can live. You can live in the past, you can live in the future, but the most profitable place for us to live is in the present. And I would encourage you to stop living in the past. And that's been the best advice ever for this episode. Now, mind of Mike, man. I got a lot of stuff on my mind with a little bit of time, so I'm gonna try to keep it pushing. Had a very interesting thing happen. I don't know if y'all check out my social media accounts, but I have this joke. Matter of fact, what's very interesting to me, the people that run my social media content, they're not me. I've given them content. They post it how they see fit. I have some input, but they are running the thing. Like when I log on and check out my account, I'm finding out when y'all finding out. And they put these titles and subtitles and they word things a particular way so that people can get some engagement, right? Well, one recent clip, because it's all my stand-up, and they just kind of cut it up, was this joke I did about plantations. Matter of fact, maybe one of my earlier jokes. One of my early jokes. Like, I don't even do that joke now. I consistently, if somebody may ask, hey, you'll do the plantation joke, I don't do that joke. But there was a moment in time in my set, like, yeah, I did the joke. But the joke is basically, my wife and I went to Parade of Homes. They had something in the window I wasn't familiar with. She said, what are those? I said, those. She said, those plantation shutters. I was like, I guess we won't be getting any of those. The word plantation makes me shudder. I'm like, but even before we get to that point, that's deeper in the set. The way the joke begins is like, I don't know if I don't know if they're doing this, because I would do it like, let's say I had a show in Nashville, and I'll say, hey man, I don't know if they're doing this in Nashville, but in Columbia where I live, they're building a lot of new homes and subdivisions, and most people are like, yeah, they're building around here. I said, but they're calling a lot of the neighborhoods plantations. Like, I don't know about you. I can't live on. We tried that already one time before. No, that's the joke. Plantation, live on a plantation, can't try it. Black dude, yeah, I'm a pass. Very benign joke. Joke's not talking about white people are the enemy and they enslaved. Like, that's not what's happening in this joke. It's very observational. My jokes, I write jokes that 100% of the people that listen can laugh. I mean, I really do. I really write jokes that I want. If I'm throwing out a net, I want all the fish that's in the sea. I don't necessarily. I'm not throwing out a net to just get catfish. I'm not just throwing out a net to get salmon. If you got catfish in there, if there's whiting, whatever the fish, I'm throwing a wide net, and whatever I pull in, I want to eat it. I want to put it on the plate, right? And so when I throw these jokes out, I'm not throwing jokes out that where, only this portion of the society can laugh, only this group of people can laugh, only people from the South can laugh. No, I want the 100% of the people to laugh, right? So that's the joke. But man, in my comments, there was some white folks in there having a hissy fit. I mean, it was out of control. It was so out of control that the company that does my social media was basically like, hey man, you need to create some content about the comments. And I'm like, see, and that's part of my problem too. This social media stuff, I'm not as resistant as I once was. I used to be super like, man, because that's how we were taught. We were taught to stay off the internet. People steal your material. So I've learned that that's very extreme. But I'm also 48 years old, right? So I'm of the age of like, matter of fact, this is a great example. I was just in Myrtle Beach, as y'all know. Well, I have a cousin. I have a young cousin that lives in Myrtle Beach. He works at Coastal Carolina. He's much younger than me, but we're in touch. And he just joined my fraternity. It hadn't even been a year yet, and this is the first time I've seen him since he's crossed. And not only has he joined my fraternity, he got married about a month ago. So I hit him up, hey, coming to town, whatever. So we end up meeting for brunch. We met, talked, laughed, all the things, advice, gave him a gift. He gave me a gift, went away, no picture, 0 picture. There's no evidence that he and I had this interaction other than the two of us knowing, like no picture. I probably met him. I ended up driving over there somewhere around 12, a little bit after 12. I got in the Myrtle Beach. I would suspect, I think we sat for about 2 hours talking, eating, fellowshipping. Didn't take one picture. Didn't cross my mind until I was driving back, because I still had to go to my hotel. I'm driving back to my hotel. I was like, didn't get a picture. So that's what I mean in terms of like social media. It's not in the forefront of my mind. I think about it. I want to do well on it. That's how you that's how you get people to come out to your shows and buy tickets and all these things and support your podcast, social media. So I want to do well. I want to provide great content. It's just a little bit it's a little bit unnatural. And so I'm working to get a little better. But the people online going nuts, going crazy. Mike, you race baiter. Something about the Democratic, get off the Democratic plantation. Hey, I tell you this right here. And this probably could be another episode. I'm pretty apolitical. And this is from a person who majored in political science and who had very great interest in politics. I vote my conscience. I vote my faith. I vote my tax bracket sometimes. I vote my... it depends, right? I'm not in one group. There's not a group that you be like, oh, he's straight ticket guy. I'm not straight ticket guy. But I'm not go to the streets and tussle you guy either. I'm like, hey, where's leadership? Is there great leadership? Is there great platforms? There's something I get excited about is America gonna be in a better position? Are we gonna make America the shining bastion of hope and freedom that we created her to be? That's what I want. I want the best for America, man. So yeah, I don't get into political conversations on the internet. I'm an adult. I'm not a kid. Like I again, that's a low blow, because there's some people that probably do, and they're adults. So that was a low blow. But I don't. I discuss politics and personal matters with people that I know. Or if somebody sent in a thing like, hey, Mike, talk about politics, or like give us some, like what I just did, like gave you a perspective. Like I'm not out here carrying the flags for the Democrats or the Republicans or the conservative or the liberals. Like I'm Christian. I'm kingdom minded, really. I do my best to vote what lines up with the word of God and my convictions and all the things. But I'm just not like, I'm on this team. And the guy or some guy, in the comments, it's just like Republicans, Democrats. And the guy basically like, yeah, we all know you can't be a Democrat and be a Christian. I'm like, how, what? Who said that? When that happened? Right? But if you're saying, okay, the Democrats are pro-abortion and they're LGBTQ, they're pro, these policies that would be anti-faith or anti some of the word, right? And yeah, 100%. If you're looking at particular stances, but I just think that life is a lot more nuanced. There's not really right, left, right. It's just not, just doesn't work like that. That's not how I work. I'm not that rigid, right? Chris Rock said it some years ago. It's a great bit. He was like, man, I'm Republican. I'm conservative on some things, and I'm liberal on other things. I'm on prostitution. I'm liberal. don't know who this is. Y'all, you probably listen to this around kids. You didn't think that word was coming. So my apologies. My apologies. But yeah, one of the funniest things with the guy was on there carrying on. And they was like, basically, Mike got a white wife. Now, I don't have a white wife, which is very clear. But I was having this conversation, and then I think this is a good place to end. But I'll follow back up. I'll get back to this. I was just recently, I saw NBA player Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce have a podcast together, and I think I have the same. I ain't gonna say challenge, but I think I draw some parallels. So Kevin Garnett was talking about Prince. Kevin Garnett played in Minnesota. Prince, avid basketball fan, and from Dave Chappelle fame, everybody was like aware of these secret basketball games that Prince would host, and he would have concerts at his house. Well, Kevin Garnett was talking about one of these type of, one of these, a couple of times he went. And Paul Pierce was kind of clowning him, like, Prince, he like, come on, man. And Kevin, like, nah, Prince has got, he got work. He talking trash. And I think, not, knowing the limited bit of what I know about Prince, like Prince professional, personal, like outward persona, and who Prince was as a dude, like a guy, I think there's some cognitive dissonance. It doesn't all the way line up. I think the same could be said about me. I think if you just see me online on a clip, especially that dry bar clip, I got that cardigan on, my bow tie, and you hear me talking a plantation joke or whatever. You can stereotype me to be totally somebody that I'm not. Like I don't know how to communicate those things. Like 100%, I'm a black man. Like undoubtedly, like I'm not ashamed of being a black man. I'm not, oh, woe is me. I was even thinking about this because even a part of the comments, somebody was constantly talking about stop being a victim. My joke, stop being a victim. And I can assure you 100%, I've never been a victim. Like we were not raised in that manner. We were not raised to consider that the government was going to take care of. Like that's just never been a part of my DNA. Then when I became a believer, so I didn't have that anyway. That's just not what, like my dad, he might not have been a lot of things. My dad was, hey, get your butt up out this house and go yourself to work. Get your butt up. I don't care how your head, how you feel, how your stomach, you're going to get up and you're going to go make something of yourself. So there was never a thought in my brain that I'm just going to be taken care of by the government. I'm just going to do these government programs and all this type. That wasn't my mentality. Then when I became a believer, especially the church that I'm connected with, my pastor is like 100% on like, nah, man, we're kingdom. God will supply all our needs, and not on no type poverty, lack mentality type scenario. Like, no, man, God has given me wisdom, insight, witty inventions. He's given me super favor, ability to do what is uncommon. I have uncommon favor. Like we just speak so well over our lives. Like, no, man, my life, if it's not going well, just give me another quarter because I'm gonna have a turnaround. Like I'm kingdomly optimistic, right? I just believe that even in suffering, that even in difficult scenarios, not that God has come so that I'll have an easy and a like a rich life, and I'll just be up high on the hog. Like, no, man, God has given me talents, abilities. If I have a bad show on Thursday, I'm just confident that the next show is gonna be better. And as I keep getting shows are gonna be great shows. Like I'm not gonna, oh, the show gonna be bad. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be, oh, it's me. I just don't have that. I even as a South Carolina fan, I'm a big Gamecock fan. This episode, we riding in overtime. I just see like that in our fan base. And then again, I'm probably looking at a snapshot of the fan base because I'm in some online groups. But you know, that the idea of a chicken curse, like there was the whoa, it's us. You know, we just fired a baseball coach. And even in reading the comments, like these people they've been crying for this man's head for a whole year, maybe for 3 years. They were not happy with this guy. So he finally gets fired. And now, even in the discussions of who would be the next coach, I could see people, oh, I don't know if we're going to be able. I don't know if you're going to leave there to come here. Like, hey, man, put some bass in your voice, man. Get your back straight. Pick your head up, man. Like, all you could do is ask. I don't know if they're gonna. So I really, man, I'm a victorious. I'm a victorious person, man. My name is Goodwin, bro. It's good to win. Like I want to win. I'm going down swinging. I might not win, but I tell you what, I'm showing up to win. I'm showing up to knock it out the park. I'm showing up to do the best that I can do. Now, will it not go my way sometimes? Yeah, but it's gonna not be for lack of trying. So yeah, that's what's been on my mind, man. And what you're not gonna do is not be upset that the podcast went longer, man. I was really trying to keep this thing. I find some new restraints. I gotta find some new restraints because what I'm doing is not working. Because I was supposed to be done 30 minutes. I'm at 42 minutes. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll talk about some of this other stuff in the future. One of the things I do want y'all to know about is the Apple TV. If you have Apple TV, Franklin, the series Franklin, outstanding. And also I want y'all to know about the Big Dad Energy Tour. I'm coming to South Carolina, Greenville, upstate. South Carolina, I'll be in North Carolina, Hickory, Greensboro, and Charlotte. That's July 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21. Let people know if you in Columbia or if you somewhere close and you can drive. People always ask me when I'm going to be close. Well, this is the closest I'm going to be for a while. So if you want to take you a trip to Charlotte, take you a trip to Greensboro, take you a trip to Hickory or to Greenville, hey, man, I love it. If you like it, I love it. But thank y'all again for tuning in for another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. If you have any questions, insights, man, shoot me information at info@comedianmikegoodwin.com. I was going to introduce this new segment. Might as well, since we're already late. I want to introduce this segment called What Did Mike Leave? What did Mike forget? That's probably a little better. What did Mike forget? When my travels, when I'm just as I have lists, but I never go back through the list. So I'm gonna forget something. It may be small, it may be big, but I typically it don't go long before I get to the hotel or get back to the venue. I'm like, oh, what happened? So what I forgot at the commencement, the convocation, the graduation was my stays, the collar stays. Matter of fact, I don't have collar stays in this shirt right here. The little stays that keep your collar straight. I didn't have it in a shirt, so that might have been part of my issue. Me and my wife had a little with my dry cleaning shirts at kind of issue. So I ended up bringing a clean, one of the dry clean shirts. Didn't have a stay in it, but I did have some extra stays, so I was able to avoid that one. But in Myrtle Beach, guess what I forgot? My toothbrush. Yep, my toothbrush. I went to go brush teeth. It's 11 o'clock at night. No toothbrush. So now I'm on the 16th floor of the Kingston Plantation. Matter of fact, I stayed at the Kingston. I should have took a picture. Oh my God, bro. I was at the plantation for 2 days and it said a mumbling word. I think I'm back. I think I'm back in July. So I might do a video. Y'all was at the Kingston Resorts. It's a Kingdom Resort, but it's the Kingston Plantation. And man, those elevator rides, man, it's like waiting to get on a ride at Disney. Man, it was long. I was on the 16th floor too. We stopped on all these floors. But yeah, I left my toothbrush. So I may I don't know, man. Because what happens a little bit with me is I get out of practice. So if I'm every week, I'm humming, I'm on it. But if I get a week off and then I got to get ready to pack to go, I'm like, I'm probably gonna forget something, man. And that's exactly what happened. So let's see what I think I'm home this week. So there's no events, there's no on the roads. I think there's going to be some close to the house activities, some things to talk about. Oh, I got some great updates. I got some big updates. A tour in 2024 that's separate from the Big Dad Energy Tour. I'm going out with 2 other comics. I'll share some information about that at some point. I got some other things. Some other things is percolating, so I'll be interested to sharing those with y'all. Thank y'all for checking me out again. I'll be back next week. Same bat channel, same bat time, same bat place. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. See you next time. Peace.